Once, when I was 12 years old, I was left alone with my dog Mickey, and he made me believe he had turned into a Nahual because he started walking on two legs and kept looking at me strangely. But 3 days before, I saw that if a dog walked on two legs, it meant it was possessed by a Nahual, and that those dogs would take children to the hills and they would never come back. So scared to death, I searched the internet for remedies against witchcraft and I found one. Crack an egg on the head of the animal or person, so I grabbed an egg and cracked it on my dog's head. But then, later I realized that what he wanted was a piece of ham I had in my shirt from breakfast, and that he really wasn't a Nahual at all. A car once ran over a little bird someone gave me. A man on the street had seen me with my parents and said, "Kid, take this little bird as a gift." So I took it and held it the whole time, and my mom kept telling me to let it go, but I didn't listen to her. But when we got in the car, the little bird pooped on the seat and my mom made me throw it out the window. So I threw it thinking it would fly, but it didn't, and a car came by and ran over it, and I just stood there like this. I was traumatized for a month by what happened.
All right, goodbye, master.
Once, when I was in middle school, I had a buddy we called Simba because his uncle sent his dad away with Chespirito. And Simba's uncle was crazy. Because one time he showed up at an event where we had danced, and after it was over, he goes and says, "Dance better, jerk. Even a lame dog dances better than you guys." So the principal told him, "Hey sir, calm down." And then Simba's uncle threw a horchata he had in his hand at the principal, right in her face and all over her clothes. So in the end, the security guard stripped him and threw him out on the street for being a jerk. One time, my uncle Tortas almost cut off his middle finger because he was at work, and he works at Pemex. So there was a hydraulic press that was sharp, which they used to cut dam stones, and it was turned off. But my uncle had the brilliant idea to put his hand in the press while it was off, because he was talking with his buddies and put his hand there to lean on it. But a few moments later, his buddy Venado got the idea to turn on the machine to keep working, without realizing that my uncle's hand was in that thing, and as it started coming down and he began to feel pain, my uncle says, "Turn it off, Venado, turn it off!" And Venado, really scared, turned it off right away. Otherwise, they would have cut my poor uncle's whole finger off. One time, my family and I drank tap water for about a week because there was COVID and all the corner stores were closed. And to make matters worse, we lent the car and didn't notice that we were running out of water. So we had to drink tap water, and in Mexico, it's not made for drinking. In the end, when they brought us the car and were about to buy water, my dad said since we already drank tap water, we might as well keep drinking it. It tastes better and even comes out with chocolate milk, and my mom looks at him and says, "Are you crazy, old man?" When I was 13, I thought there was a giant salamander. He had gone to wake me up in my room to go to school because one day my dad went to wake me up around 6 in the morning to go to school. But before that, he had taken a shower with cold water like Antarctica. So when he came to my room, he said, "Son, get up to go to school." And he touched my arm. But since I felt something cold and wet, I went. Because I was all warm and under my Incredibles blanket. So when I opened my eyes, I saw him and screamed because I thought the Salamander King had come to my room to eat me. One time, my parents almost left me behind at a Walmart because we had gone to the movies to watch a horror film where some monsters moved through the ventilation ducts in the ceiling. So after the movie ended, we went to the supermarket. But at one point, I looked up and there were some ducks that looked exactly like the ones from the movie. And I thought something was going to appear and I was paralyzed with fear. But my parents didn't realize that I wasn't with them. So in the end, since I couldn't find them, I had to go to the phone that says Delhi Aisle 5, so they could announce over the speakers that a dirty kid was lost. At that moment, Cell felt true terror. One time, my friend Motomoto forgot to mute his mic on Discord and moaning sounds started to be heard. Because his girlfriend had come over to his house and we were playing Valorant. But instead of telling me the truth, he said his mom had called him and he had to go. But the dummy left without leaving the call or at least muting his mic. So after a while, you could start hearing things and there was another friend on the call and we got weirded out and well, it made us laugh. But then, a bit later, Motomoto shows up and says, sounding tired, "Hey, what's up? I'm here now." And we told him, dude, you didn't turn off your mic. And out of embarrassment, he left the call without saying anything.
No way, you're such a pig.
One time, my brother Kneehead deleted me. The Sims, and it was my favorite game because I always played it when I got home from school. But one day I go to the computer to play it, so I look for it everywhere, but I can't find it, and I say to Kneehead, hey, where is The Sims? He said he deleted it because the characters did the woohoo in the game. Since I was 11, he said I couldn't see that, and it was for my own good not to play. But honestly, I didn't know what that woohoo thing was. So I looked it up on the internet, and it got worse because I stumbled on real-life sex.
Yeah, I know. Too much nonsense.
One time I broke my friend Kik Butowski's 20,000 peso iPad because he had brought it to school and he was my best friend. And well, we were always messing with each other for fun. But that day he put the iPad on the table and I said, stupid iPad, but just joking around, I pretended to throw the iPad, but I went too far and didn't calculate well, so the iPad went flying. And I started to see how it fell in slow motion onto the metal part of a chair and the whole screen broke. And Kik Butowski, such a good guy. He didn't charge me anything, and to this day I still haven't paid him.
If you know how to waste your time, go to my profile now. If you know how to waste your time, go to my profile now.
One time my dog Mickey peed on my leg and it smelled for a week because that crazy guy is really dirty since when he comes into the house, he forces the mess. And if he doesn't feel like peeing or pooping, he'll throw up on the living room carpet just to be annoying. So that day I was in the yard with my dog and I felt like peeing. So I used a little tree over there. But later, when I was just relaxing in a chair, sitting there in the yard, I felt something cool on my leg. And I said, oh, that feels nice and cool. But then I turned around and it was that damn Mickey peeing on my leg. And then I wanted to get back at him, but I was afraid he'd bite my little buddy.
I'm wild, I'm crazy, I'm wild.
Once there was a brown bear that almost died from the cold because the poor thing was born albino and was in the jungle. But one day, a group of rescuers saw him and thought he was a polar bear that had to migrate because of global warming. So the foolish rescuers sedated him and sent him to Antarctica. When the poor brown bear wakes up, he has no idea what's happening and nearly dies of hunger because he can't hunt outside his habitat. So sometime later, other rescuers realized that he was an albino brown bear and returned him to the jungle. But the worst part is that then the same rescuers from the beginning thought he had gone back to the jungle and those idiots took him back to Antarctica again.
Let me go.
Mama, I'm a criminal. Mama, I'm a criminal, criminal. Mama, I'm a criminal. Mama, I'm a criminal. Mama, I'm a criminal.